Now at 5, Governor Holcomb announces new steps to make sure everyone is treated fairly and has equal opportunities. What this means for you.
To have something like this to help make that transition easier, it makes the world a better place and safer place.
4 organizations working to curb violence in Indianapolis are getting a financial boost from the city. We'll tell you how one plans to use that money.
We need to ask our governor to step up and take a look at this because it's all kids in the state of Indiana that are struggling right now.
Families are concerned about the quality of education their kids are receiving in the age of e-learning, why they're hoping the state steps in.
From the station working for you, this is WRTV News at 5, streaming now.
And now at 5, morning rain, heavy at times, and even some rumbles of thunder.
Right now, dry, but still quite a few clouds out there. Does that mean more rain tonight? Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory with your forecast. Hey, Kev.
Here's my nonverbal forecast. No more rain tonight. That's the good news. You got a decent amount in the rain gauge this morning in the Indy metro area, no doubt about that. 85/100ths of an inch for Indianapolis. There were spots Shelby County had over an inch in a few areas. Any sprinkles are south of the Seymour to North Vernon line and moving away. So soon everything in the rearview mirror. It's all about looking forward to what will be a beautiful stretch of days. It's breezy, it's cooler, and less humid than where we were 24 hours ago. Temperature 77 in the metro area, temperatures in western Indiana in the low 80s, while southeast Indiana, because of the departing rain and more cloud cover, you're in the low 70s. Temperatures tonight, they fall rather quickly. The sky will clear, temperature will drop to 67 by 10 o'clock tonight. That's the beginning of the temperature tumble. We'll talk about where we land in the morning and the changes late in the week into the weekend coming up.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Months after demonstrations for racial equity took place across the city, across the country rather, and here in Indiana, Governor Holcomb is announcing a wide range of initiatives that he says will shape change across the state. They include body cameras for Indiana State Police, which should be distributed and operational by this time next year. A new position on the governor's cabinet called the Chief Equity, Inclusion, and Opportunity Officer. Holcomb will work with state lawmakers to add civilians to the Indiana Law Enforcement Agency Board. And he plans to increase transparency by creating a public disparity portal, which will let anyone see data about state agencies.
We'll track and share up-to-date information on various fronts, each important to transforming someone's station in life at every stage, like pre-K enrollment, graduation, college enrollment, and employment rates, access to capital. We'll put our cards on the table, face up. This type of public dashboard transparency is critical if we're all going to move forward together.
That initiative focuses on government and policing, but there are other initiatives at work helping lift black businesses to survive in this soured economic climate. WRTV's Troy Washington is focusing on that angle, showing how one group is helping connect customers to black businesses and how the state is also making a move to help.
Tiana Thompson started Black-Owned Midwest, a group that connects black business owners.
From black architects to black therapists and so forth, even lawyers.
There are even black farmers in the group, like Selena Tillman, an urban farmer who runs Serenity Gardens.
Black-Owned Midwest has been a great, I guess, kind of connector between a local community growth spot and the local community surrounding.
The group is about 3,400 people strong.
And according to Governor Holcomb, there's no better time than now to join the movement supporting black businesses.
While black lives matter, black livelihoods matter too.
Like buying black is in right now just because of the movement, and I found that a lot of people, no matter what skin tone you are in, they want to support black businesses.
In July, right here inside of Cleo's Bodega and Cafe, Thompson received a proclamation from the state supporting the Buying Black movement.
There is a stigma that we don't support each other, that we're not looking out for each other. So if we can all band together and show that we are one unit, we are a community, our culture does matter.
Lena Dickerson recognizes their strength in unity.
Anybody in the group can just comment and say, do y'all want to pop out today? And we'll just say yeah and decide on where to go.
And thousands of other group members agree we are all better together. Working for you, Troy Washington, WRTV.
And we've got more details on these businesses when you read this story on our website, WRTV.com.
The effort to curb violence in Indianapolis is getting some financial help. Today, 4 local organizations all received a $75,000 grant to continue their outreach work and further the services they provide for vulnerable populations. WRTV's Megan Sanctorum is working to find out how one of those groups plans to use the money and the long-term impact it could have on the community as a whole.
This is Recycle Force. It may look like any other electronics recycling facility, but here the mission is about more than saving the environment. They're also working to save lives, giving community members who may have spent time in jail or prison a second chance and the support and tools they need for a better future. They provide paid job training and certifications, allowing people to grow while still working with the court system to meet their requirements and make sure they never miss a hearing for their case. One man tells us he spent 12 years in federal prison. He says after being released, he really didn't have anywhere to turn. Recycle Force helped provide the training he needed to get a permanent job. He says it also gives participants hope and a sense of purpose.
If I wake up and I have nowhere to go, nothing to do, no purpose, I'm more likely to be like a leaf. The wind blow, I'll go with the wind. But if I know that I have to be at work, even if it's a menial job, and I have a carrot in front of me saying I'll be able to get a better job, it gives me a moment of pause when I get that moment of boredom that might allow me to go do something foolish or might allow me to be in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He's now working with the leadership team here, and they will use the grant money to do deeper and after-hours outreach in the community.
So to invest $75,000 in an attempt to save multiple lives, I think is a drop in the bucket compared to what it would cost if one person murders another person.
Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, WRTV.
And the other 3 organizations receiving grants today are Voices Community Action of Greater Indianapolis and the Edna Martin Christian Center. And the city of Muncie is facing another excessive force lawsuit involving its police department. Lonnie Ganem filed his lawsuit August 10th, alleging he was beaten in the face by Muncie police officers and suffered facial fractures as a result. This is at least the 5th excessive force lawsuit filed against Muncie police within the last year. Ganem's attorneys also say his constitutional rights were violated during the incident. WRTV has reached out to attorneys for the officers as well as the current Muncie police chief. Lonnie Ganem's incident is also included in a federal indictment against officers Chase Winkle, Jeremy Gibson, and Drew Crashaw. A grand jury handed down a 12-count indictment against the officers back in March for using excessive force against suspects and attempting to cover up the misconduct. This federal criminal case is still pending. We have reached out to attorneys for the officers for comment on the Ganem lawsuit.
Now let's get to today's numbers on the spread of coronavirus in Indiana. 850 more Hoosiers have tested positive. Those results all recorded yesterday. We're closing in on a statewide total of 82,000. The overall positivity rate has dropped a bit to 8.8%, and the 7-day positivity rate has also dropped to 7.8% for the dates of August 5th through the 11th. 28 more Hoosiers have died from COVID-19. That is the highest daily reported increase since June 6th. The deaths reported today occurred between July 31st and yesterday. The statewide total is now 2,954. We are less than 3 weeks away from Labor Day weekend, and there's a concern that the national holiday may lead to another spike in COVID-19 cases. U.S. Surgeon General Dr. Jerome Adams spoke with WRTV's Rafael Sanchez in a Zoom interview about that fear.
There's a concern for a spike. Are you concerned at all? And what is your message as we head into that weekend in a couple of weeks?
I'm absolutely concerned, and when I talk to the state and the local health departments here in Indiana, they tell me much of the spread is occurring at family gatherings, at picnics, at weddings, at cookouts. And so I want people to know that we can contain and control this virus with the 3 simple measures I mentioned, and the proof of that is New York, hardest hit place in the world. They now have a positivity rate under 1%. They didn't get a vaccine. They don't have a miracle therapeutic. They did it with washing their hands, wearing a face mask, and watching their distance.
Now, Adams believes a vaccine could be available by the end of the year. Dr. Adams spoke with us as he visited his in-laws in northeastern Indiana.
Some families are worried about the quality of education their kids are receiving in the age of e-learning. One woman reached out to WRTV with serious concerns that her granddaughter is not getting the proper education she needs to progress. WRTV's Stephanie Wade shares these concerns in the district's response.
My granddaughter was looking for some reassurance when she turned on her computer that this was going to be a more normal experience. And so when it wasn't, it just kind of, it was very upsetting for her.
1 week into e-learning at Binford Elementary, part of the Monroe County Community School Corporation, Karen Fulkerson says she feels her granddaughter is not getting the most thorough education she could be getting right now, with very little video communication and interaction with her teachers, especially as other districts like Indianapolis Public Schools began their semester yesterday fully virtual and utilizing Zoom and other platforms to communicate with their students throughout the day.
And they showed teachers in Indianapolis sitting in their desks, live streaming a full day, and having, constant interaction and spontaneity with the kids, and that's something that I feel is really lacking here.
Fulkerson says they're also having problems with the online school system Canvas and have called the school about it, knowing every school district has differing resources and capabilities. She's hoping hers will step up or the state will step in. Stephanie Wade, WRTV.
We've also reached out to the school district for a response and asked if they plan to make any changes to the e-learning curriculum for students. We will keep you updated when we hear back. And hiring Hoosiers is our commitment to keeping you informed of job opportunities of all kinds. And Domino's announced today it wants to hire more than 350 people across 51 stores in the Indianapolis area. Positions include delivery drivers, customer service representatives, assistant managers, and managers. Part-time and full-time positions are available. A local franchise owner said with the increased demand for deliveries, there's a need for more employees. If you are interested in applying, look for this story at hiringhoosiers.com.
Still ahead here at 5, looking ahead to the college basketball season when we might expect some news from the NCAA. And a very big night ahead on the Democratic National Convention. Who will be speaking on this historic night? Coming up.
And this morning it was about rain. This evening it's about clearing skies and cool temperatures. We'll have the morning lows for the next few mornings coming up.
Many decisions have been announced about the college football season due to coronavirus, but what about basketball? The NCAA will likely decide in mid-September whether to start the college basketball season on time or have a short-term delay due to the pandemic. The NCAA senior vice president in basketball said in a statement that mid-September will likely be the first of many decisions about the 2020-21 season. He said the NCAA has developed and studied contingency plans in case the season cannot be started on November 10th.
Now to Democracy 2020, and in a matter of hours at the Democratic National Convention, Joe Biden will officially get his party's nomination for president. Tonight's theme, Leadership Matters, and the lineup of speakers will include former President Bill Clinton and Biden's wife, Jill. ABC's Andrew Dimber reports tonight.
Joe Biden officially gets his party's presidential nomination at the Democratic National Convention. About the only familiar feel to this all-digital convention are the familiar faces slated to speak in an effort to rally support behind Biden. Former President Bill Clinton, a prominent party star who delivered the address at the 2016 convention when his wife was the Democratic nominee, will speak again tonight, endorsing Joe Biden for president.
Thank you.
From past presidents to newcomers, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez will give a 1-minute speech to the online crowd. The convention's decision to only give the 30-year-old congressional freshman 60 seconds has irked some within the progressive wing of the party. But on a more personal level, Joe Biden's wife, Jill, will give her address from a Delaware high school where she once taught.
As second lady, she was teaching full-time for 8 years, 15 credits a semester. Teaching is not what Jill does, it's who she is. Jill just simply cares.
The lineup of Democratic luminaries follows former First Lady Michelle Obama's blistering rebuke of President Trump on the DNC's opening night.
Donald Trump is the wrong president for our country.
The president firing back.
Incredible. No, I thought her speech was very divisive. And frankly, I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for Barack Obama. See?
Those voicing their criticisms of President Trump stretching beyond the circle of the Democratic National Convention. Former Homeland Security Chief of Staff Miles Taylor, who says he will vote for Biden, telling Good Morning America.
He would just tell us to do things that we would say are inappropriate, unethical, or illegal.
The president called Taylor disgruntled. As for the convention itself, Trump spending time countering the Democrats' big event by stumping in swing states like Minnesota and Wisconsin. And this convention is historic. When the Democratic ticket is officially nominated, Kamala Harris will become the first woman of color to appear on a major party's ballot as a candidate for vice president. Biden and Harris, meanwhile, will be sitting down exclusively with ABC News next Sunday, giving their first joint television interview on their history-making ticket. Andrew Dimbert, ABC News, Washington.
Live coverage kicks off tonight at 7 o'clock on ABC News Live, the network streaming channel. Primetime coverage here on WRTV will begin at 10 o'clock. Today marks another milestone in our democracy. 100 years ago today, Congress ratified the 19th Amendment, which ensured women have the right to vote. The amendment is named for Susan B. Anthony, and today President Trump said he would officially pardon Anthony, who was arrested for voting in 1872. It was a violation of the laws at the time that only permitted men to vote. She was convicted but refused to pay the fine, but authorities did not take further action. But until today, she was never pardoned. Now to your Storm Team 6 forecast. And now that the rain is out of here, it's turned into a very nice day out there. So what's in store as we make our way midweek? Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory checking that for you tonight. Hey, Kevin.
So, Mark, one of the luxuries of the home studio, you can open the windows, let some of that air in. You got the windows open?
The windows are all closed. Can't keep the sunlight out.
Got to keep, yeah, you know, home studio, got to keep it protected, but it's also a bit breezy, so you don't want your papers flying around. All right, let's talk. Kokomo, 80 degrees right now. Bloomington's at 74. If you go south and east of Indy, temperatures lag behind a little bit because you've had the most recent rain and the cloud cover still breaking up. Okay, the thunderstorms, it's a long line of rain, some pockets of heavy rain and isolated thunderstorms from near Evansville to Louisville and then toward Lexington, Kentucky. Those will continue to move away from central Indiana. Tonight, we've got a little light breeze and drier air moving in. That works against fog formation, but let's call for a little patchy fog, especially if you caught those downpours earlier today. We're dry with low humidity the next 3 days. Our chance for rain does creep back into central Indiana as we move to race weekend in Indianapolis. Just put a little green bar there on Saturday. The chance for rain is 20%, and that's really southern third of the state on Saturday. We'll have a little better chance for a shower or thunderstorm even in central Indiana on the Sunday. Mostly clear tonight. The wind out of the northeast, temperature down to 57 in Indianapolis, but we're not the coolest. You're the coolest, Peru. 54 in Lafayette, 53 in Muncie. Temperature also in Wayne County, eastern Indiana, in the lower 50s. Next 3 days, temperatures will bounce around a bit, but be comfortable all 3 days. As you look at your hourly forecast for tomorrow, 74 by noon, 80 the afternoon high. Just some fair weather cumulus clouds pop up in the afternoon. They're my favorite clouds. They've got a lot of curb appeal. Wind out of the northeast tomorrow, not quite as strong. We had gusts to 26 today. Tomorrow's temperatures upper 70s to 80 degrees. Thursday, what's different? Not much. Humidity stays low, probably more sunshine from start to finish. And as you analyze the 7-day forecast, temperatures over the next 7 days will warm up. By the time we get to the weekend, we're back to average temperatures in the mid-80s, a little more humidity. The chance for a race day thunderstorm is 30% with an 84-degree high. But I'd say the next 3 mornings, one of the highlights of the 7-day forecast with temperatures in the 50s. Enjoy.
Still ahead on the news at 5, a new Girl Scout cookie is unveiled, but will it be available to Hoosiers? What we learned after making a phone call. The Girl Scouts announced a new cookie flavor today, but before you get too excited, it will not be offered in the 45 counties served by the Girl Scouts of Central Indiana. The Scouts use 2 bakeries, and the one that provides cookies to our Scouts is not making the French toast flavored Toastier. It will go on sale in January when cookie sales begin. So if this is a flavor you would like to try, check with friends and family who live outside our area. That sounds delicious, though. You know what goes great with just about any cookie? Some milk. And tomorrow there are 2 opportunities to get some free milk. The milk is courtesy of Prairie Farms. The first giveaway is from 8 until noon at the Hancock County Fairgrounds in Greenfield. Tomorrow afternoon, Prairie Farms will be at Franciscan Health Indianapolis giving out free milk to healthcare providers and the public who have supported their efforts during the pandemic. That is from 3:30 to 7:30 near the outpatient center. You can get a gallon of 2% on a first come, first served basis. And helping neighbors in need during the pandemic, how churches and groups are coming together to assist the community and how you can help. That's tonight at 6. And still ahead on the news at 5:30, a big change just announced at the University of Notre Dame due to coronavirus. What it means for students. We'll be right back.